What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hey, I'm here in the junkyard before we start working on Joe's car. I came here to pick up this long block, or actually I'm just taking the short block because I don't need the cylinder head, and today is the last day for the 40% off. So I figure I just snagged this, and let me show you the reason why I'm getting it. So I came here last week with Tyga to kind of snoop around and see what's new and what's not, and you guys probably seen that EF hatch over there, but I came and I saw this car. This car is the least mileage in the whole yard. It's 181,000, right? And I noticed that the short block is a B18B. So at one point in its life, this motor has been changed out, and when I was taking out everything right here, it was literally like hand tied. Like, it didn't take that much effort, so I know it has been swapped out. Hopefully it's lesser mileage than that. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to take the head off first, inspect the cylinders, and if it looks good, I'm going to drop the tranny, and then I'm going to drop the short block on a spare wheel or something, and then hopefully I get this for like about $100 with, you know, core and tax and all that BS too. But I'm just gonna pull this out. I did forget my camera, and right now it's on my phone, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get this rolling and get on out of here, because today's really hot. What is going on, you guys? We are back here in the garage, and you know what, the weather has cooled down a lot, because when I was in the junkyard, man, I was sweating bullets like baby 22s. But in the junkyard, it was like 92, 93 degrees out in the sun with no shade, and boy, it took me a while to debate if I wanted to take that block or not, but I did. And the reason why it's later in the day is because I went to Harbor Freight, got 6 wheel dollies, went to the storage, and pretty much anything that wasn't on a wheel dolly has been set on a wheel dolly, and obviously a wheel dolly for the new short block we just bought. So after all of that was said and done, we came back here. I kind of took a little breather because I'm too fat for this weather. You know what I mean? And we're here now. Joe just got back here, and I'm about to get started on Joe's turbo kit. Now, I don't want to talk too much. I don't want to show you guys every little bit of thing, you know, because I have plenty of videos out there of me installing a full turbo kit. Sick ass big tube JG exhaust manifold. This thing is super old school. It's got to go down, Joe. Now, next step is to drop the oil pan, because we still need to tap it, and we don't have an oil pan gasket, right, Joe? But I have an oil pan gasket right here, so warrantied out, baby. You know what I'm saying, G? Got a valve cover gasket, got a head gasket, got a lot of stuff. So I got the pan removed, and I cleaned the whole thing inside and out just because it was already out. And I'm about ready to drill out the hole for the dash 10 AN. So this right here is a steel bung that I'm going to be using to weld onto the pan for the return line. I'm going to choose to put it on this end, and with the AN attached to the bung here, I can kind of get an idea on how far I can go up before the AN fitting touches that lip right there, right? Because the higher the better. Oh yeah, cinnamony, horchata from 7-Eleven, boy, fuego. No. Alright guys, so we got the oil pan put on, we got the RTV on the corners of the pump and the rear main cover, and I also installed the feed line with the T adapter down there in the back. You guys know how that looks. Just a T stock OEM sensor in the back of that, and then the feed pointing upward comes over here to a dash 3, which is more than enough for a T3 turbo. And that's pretty much just gonna wrap it tonight. Like I said, I want to show you guys more of this in the daytime. So typically when the skunk's out, it's time to close up, right? And that sucker is big, right, Joe?
Yeah, I'm good, bro.
Yeah, it's time to clean up, man. But I'll definitely catch you guys tomorrow, so we'll see you in a second. Alright guys, so it is the next day. We are back here in the garage. So we just grinded down the block, and we got the turbo manifold to fit how it should fit. and it's sitting flush against the head. Now the turbo and everything has already been clocked in the position that I want it to be. You guys can see it right here, already ready to rock and roll. The block right here is shaved. I didn't go too crazy with it, and everything seemed to have worked out. Now I was looking at the compressor housing and how far it sat towards the front radiator support, and I was a little skeptical about the radiator being super close to it or touching perhaps, but Joe has his radiator here as well too, and I just test fit it right here, and we have plenty of room, like maybe a finger gap. But I think the stock fan either needs to be modified like Tiger's fan, but you're also going to pick up a slim fan later, right? I took off the wastegate because one, this part was hitting that, but I just clocked that. But I was also curious what spring was in here. Now it has a small green, and on the chart the small spring has a 1.825 OD. This has a 1.825 OD, and on the chart it says that it's a 7.2 pound spring. Now on the B20 stock mat, we're just going to keep it light, 7 pound.
7.
Yeah, just going to do it right off the wastegate. The vacuum port on this turbo is on the bottom. Just going to loop it up right into there and tune it off the wastegate, and that's going to be that. So right now I'm going to fit this a little bit more. Okay guys, so I have the return line on here and only one side connected because I had to figure out where it was going to be routed to. I have a 45, you can't really see it, but it's a 45 angle right here, and the other side is also 45, which came with Joe's kit. So just leaving this loose over there, I'm kind of like figuring out how much of a bend can I do, and trying to keep it from, you know, bowing down and then going back up into the pan. So right now I have this at the lowest point possible, and I think it's going to work out. So it's going to go something like that, loop around, goes right in there. I also have the sleeve that goes on here because it is really close to the downpipe, so the sleeve is going to prevent it from getting super hot, and it's going to prevent the nylon from burning on the downpipe. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut this line right here, get that installed, and then downpipe. Whew! All right guys, so after dropping the exhaust and cutting off the meow meow over there, we're going to be connecting this to a flange, a 2-bolt 2.5 flange, and then fill in the gap with piping and a flex pipe. Always want to run a flex pipe so you don't go breaking the welds off the turbo or anywhere else on the exhaust system. We got the return line right here. You can see it's all just kind of mocked into place, but you know, not fully tightened down. And yeah, so this is going to go on right here because we have enough room between the pan, right? Tucked up really nice too. It's not like crazy low. And then I got to figure out how far I want to extend the back piece. I had some leftover aluminized mild steel from the CRX when I did the exhaust on that, and we're going to connect it pretty much the rest of the way like so, and obviously with the flange in the middle. And I don't know if I showed you guys, but I did fill up my MIG tank, and I can weld this exhaust up today so that this will be quiet for the initial first startup. So I'm gonna mock up some pieces, show you guys what I come up with. All right guys, so I got this back half right here cut off from mid pipe that came off the coupe a while ago, and it has a 2.5 flange on it. So I got it all tacked up. From here to there is 13 inches, fit it right into the resonator, and from here to the flex is 7, a little over 7.5. I couldn't read it on the measuring tape, but I'm gonna cut a pipe from this extra piece right here and then butt it up, see if it fits up, and then I'm going to tack it, pull it off, and then fully weld it. I'm really hoping this thing's gonna be ultra quiet. It has a resonator on it. It's 2.5, and has a box muffler in the back too, a stock style. All right guys, so we are back here, day 3, working on Joe's wagon, and we got the bumper here removed, and we're going to be working on the intercooler. Now the intercooler is a JDM Sport barn plated from eBay. I also got this from the username Just Intercooler, where I get all my pipings and everything else you guys seen that I've talked about on Tyga's CRV video. But this came off my CRX because I have a new intercooler for that, and this will fit perfectly here. And my goal is to try to fit the bumper on without cutting the front of the grill out. Now I am going to cut like all the way to the edge, but I still want to retain at least the front part of the grill. So right now I got to come up with a different game plan, because all the pipings I told Joe to buy, I had intentions of doing dual backdoor. Obviously it was dual backdoor on my car with the couplers, and I forgot he still had the battery here. So now I'm gonna have to route it the typical, you know, EF style, which comes out to the passenger rail, and then it goes around and it goes into the intercooler. The issue is the way the EF wagon bumper is, it's a snub nose, so it doesn't stick out as far as this one goes. And you can kind of see it right here. From my core support to here, it's like 4 inches, right? The intercooler is 2.5. Now the wagon bumper to here is 2 inches, so it wouldn't even fit a 2.5. And what I got to do is I'm gonna mount this in place, dead centered. This one's gonna be dual backdoor. It's gonna go through the frame. You can kind of see the pipe already mocked up a little bit. It's not what I'm gonna use, but you can see how I'm gonna be routing that. So I'm not gonna show you too much on it. And this side, I'm going to be going around the passenger rail. So what I got to do to make clearance between the support and the bumper, right, I'm going to have to like slit this after mocking the intercooler. I'm going to have to slit this, bang it in, flat it out, so that way the pipe goes closer to this, and hopefully fit the 2.5-inch pipe so we can wrap it around and get the bumper to fit on without ultra gaps, and go up and around and all of that. But I'm gonna brainstorm a little bit more, come up with something, and again, we'll show you guys the process along the way. Alright guys, so it's been a couple of hours since the last update, and I haven't really done anything because you guys probably see all the people that's over here now. And let me show you guys the freaking front yard. We are super loaded. Look at this. I mean, there was 2 cars there earlier, but fully loaded. Hot summer nights. This is kind of how it is, you know. So I've been trying to work on the bumper because I wanted the bumper to fit before you know, getting further into the charge pipe. So right now I cut this part of the support off, right, because the intercooler comes up this far, and it works out because this has a grill right here that will feed air into the intercooler. And then so now I got to cut this piece so we can get more airflow to the intercooler, right? And then I'm also going to cut this off right here where you can see the line, so we can fit the intercooler without trimming too much. The bumper fits, just needs this part to go off so this can meet the mount, and we can bolt the 12 in, and then hopefully we can get this fitted on, bolted onto the car, and then we'll start making the charge pipes.
Depends on the day, you know.
Kevin, do I got the okay from you?
Hell yeah, dog. You clean. Know what I'm saying? Okay, play.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, play. Stop play.
I don't know if you guys can tell by my hair and my shiny forehead, the humidity is kind of, it's making me sweat a lot. And the last clip was 2 days ago, and yesterday me and Joe went to the EF versus DA meet, so we didn't really do anything to the car. But today me and Joe went to go get our tank filled with argon. It's a 250, so it's a pretty big and heavy tank, and it cost a lot of money, but we got it filled and we were able to finish the charge pipe. Check it out. The whole day after getting back home, I had issue with this pipe and that pipe, or this pipe as well too. This is an eBay like adapter flange for the blow off valve, and this is super coated, and I cleaned the outside but I forgot to clean the inside, so every time I would start welding, all of the coating from the underside came up and you know, made the welds look all booger. And you know, I was able to sand it all down or grind it all down and re-weld it so that way we don't have any like holes. But I don't know for sure if they're small little pinholes, whatever the case, but to my ability, as far as I can see, it's fully welded. And then coming up here, this is some really clean piping. You can see I did some really nice clean welds here, but this guy's coated, so I forgot the same thing. And you know, grinded it completely down and then re-welded it so that it looks uniform. And we got this whole side finished. This side has 3 couplers, one at the intercooler, one right here, and then it comes up over here to the throttle body. That's all secured. This side is pretty simple. I had this piece lying around. It's a 90 with one end being super short, and then that goes to the back door here. And I cleared the frame enough that this coupler fits. So we got this secured, and that's pretty much the turbo kit. Now, everything that I'm going to do right now is pretty much just buttoning it up, put the T-bar back into place, and get this to latch to the hood, because this bottom piece is supposed to bolt to this guy right here, and obviously the intercooler is in place. So I have this piece right here, which originally was on my car, which bolts to the top of the intercooler, and then this guy right here bolts into this part. So if I have to, I'm gonna have to trim this bottom part off just so that we can push this forward, and then bolts to this, so that way this can be nice and flat for the latch to hook up to this. But aside from this, it's just a radiator, coolant, and then we're gonna fire it. So I'm just gonna take care of that real quick, guys, and then we'll try to button up this video because it's been ongoing 5 freaking days now. And we're almost done. This is my thumb, and I don't know what the hell that is, but it is freaking huge, bro. And look at Joe's freaking bomb. Bruh, Lucy was playing with that earlier. I thought it was a freaking hummingbird or something, but that sucker's huge, boy. Goddamn. We had to refab the wastegate dump tube because it was hitting the charge pipe and it wasn't making its way all the way to the bottom of the engine. So took another dump tube, I don't know where it went, right here, cut that piece off, added up to this guy, and now we have this guy right there. So we are practically done with the turbo kit install. There are a few little things that we still got to address, like the coolant reservoir line to the radiator, because it's short. We need a vacuum line for the wastegate, and we need a vacuum line for the blow-off valve. Now the bumper is not on the car because I want to ensure that we have the vacuum line on first, since there is no other way to access it. And then once we take care of that, we'll get the bumper fitted back on. And we already fitted the bumper, so we know it already fits without further modification, hopefully. But aside from that, the radiator, we got it installed. It is mounted in place. It is secured on the bottom, like little tab. There's 2 of them, and this radiator is sitting on the passenger side one. So the only thing we got to address with the radiator is Joe ordered a spall fan, and we're gonna install the spall fan before putting in coolant, because we want to ensure that we have clearance between the fan and the bottom hose, the fan and the Hasport cable to hydro conversion, as well as the fan to the compressor housing. Nothing is touching, but you know, just imagine if the engine rocked or something vibrated loose. I don't want it to be up and grinding on each other. And once we get the fan, we'll address that. But I turned the car on a minute ago just to double check leaks and you know, making sure nothing is vibrating on each other other than the radiator vibrating right here, because it's only being held by one mount. Once we swap out the spall fan, I'm going to put a foam double-sided tape right here to kind of absorb the vibration. But aside from that, it's pretty much ready to go. When you guys see this car again in a later video, hopefully this car is going to be on the ground, running and driving. Joe is going to be using my S300 for now until we go pick up his ECU when the car goes to the dyno, hopefully next Saturday. And we'll swap the ECU then. But my cousin already has a base map for the B20 and Joe's 660 injectors with the correct dead times and all. And we street tuned Tiger's car the other day, and he's getting it. So before the dyno, just so we can drive the car around, making sure everything is good, you know, and up to par, we're gonna have Daniel you know, street tune it a little bit, and hopefully I'll take you along with that. So I'm gonna turn the car on real quick for you guys just to listen to it, since we have everything all attached to it already. And yeah, you want to do the honors, Joe, real quick?
Absolutely.
So right now the car smells a little bit rich because we don't have the O2 sensor hooked up, so the ECU don't know like how to act right now. But aside from that, you guys just heard the car is ultra quiet and everything sounds good up front. So, but that's gonna be it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed the turbo kit install on Joe's car because he's finally boosted, and we're gonna be getting this car ready for October 20th, Sacramento CMI, hosted by Street to Check Fall Fling. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you guys are happy for Joe being boosted finally, and if you guys want to stick around for everything else to come with this car, be sure to hit the subscribe button. We are ultra tired. So with that being said, guys, thank y'all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.